think I speak for the entire team. Very nice to see that little orange ball in the sky that we had forgotten existed, and it's good to be home. It's been a long time.
Yeah, Steve, you knew you had that trip coming. I'm sure it was on a lot of guys' minds for weeks or months before. And when it's over, now that it's over, do you want them to kind of exhale and know that it's almost kind of a sprint to the finish line now?
I want them to exhale, although we have a game tonight, so no time to exhale. This is the third East Coast trip where we came back and immediately had a game. It'd be nice to have a day off and then a practice, but this is just the way the schedule works. So now it's just about let's settle back in to our routine. Not as many games, more practice time. Let's keep getting better. I don't look at it as a sprint to the finish line because we're in great shape. The bottom of the East standings, that's a sprint to the finish line. I mean, everybody's within a game or two of each other, and every game is huge. We're not in that position. We got a 5-game lead atop the West, or at least in the loss column. I don't know what it is total, but we're in good shape. We're just trying to get better, get everybody healthy and rested and ready to go.
Probably predicated by the way the games played out. The last 2 games, you really cut down your rotation, especially in the second half. Is that with a look towards the playoffs? Is that something you might go to 7, 7.5? You've been talking about you can't go 10, you can't go 11. I mean, are you moving in that direction? And did we see the beginnings of that in the last 2 games?
I think more than anything, you saw matchups. Boston and Brooklyn both have downsized considerably. So they're playing one big, spreading the floor with 3-point shooters, running high screen and roll all game. When we play teams like that, there's a pretty good chance we're going to play smaller. Have a center on the floor, Bogut, maybe Festus if it's a guy like Brook Lopez that we're guarding, and then our most versatile defenders around those guys. Now, if the lineup changes, then that opens the door for a lot of other players, which is good because we've got plenty of depth. But it's really all about defense. We want to make stops. When we make stops, when we're defending well, that's when we get out and run. That's when we can be devastating offensively. And so I'm really looking at matchups more than anything and trying to put our best defensive lineups on the floor and then kind of go from there.
With all the different roster moves that have been made and guys waived, are you foreseeing a possibility of perhaps adding somebody this week?
It sounds like a thinly veiled reference to someone who's been in the news lately. I know you have to ask that, but I'm not going to answer that. It's just, it's a hypothetical, and I'll let Bob handle any stuff like that. But beyond that, no comment.
Trying not to too subtly slide around that one. Where are you on the idea of the chemistry of this locker room as it has been built up with the guys you have in there, and do you worry about someone else coming in and changing up that chemistry? Whoever that might be.
We have great chemistry. We have as good team chemistry as I've seen in a long time. Every time I watch the tape of our games, I see the background. I see the guys on the bench jumping up and down for each other. It's awesome, and that's a powerful force.
Steve, you talk about sort of fixing the defense in a manner of speaking. How much of what has happened to the defense is what you guys are not doing or not adjusting to, and how much of it is teams just being scouted over the course of a season, you think?
I think our defense, when we're engaged and active, is excellent still. We had a bad stretch recently, but I think every team goes through spells where, for whatever reason, you don't perform quite up to your standards. You play a tougher schedule. You're traveling. You're playing better teams. Whatever it is, I'm not at all concerned. We made a real focus in Toronto, of hey, we got to get back to being who we are, and our defense was fantastic that night, and that's what we wanted to see. Boston, obviously, we got blitzed right from the start, but by the end of the game, they shot 37%. That was a great defensive effort. And Brooklyn the other night, they made tough shots. They played an excellent game. We played hard. We played a lot of people. We were at the tail end of a trip. We could have very easily won that game, but they had to play extremely well to beat us, and I was really proud of our effort. So you take that for what it's worth, but when we're at our best and when we're engaged and healthy, then we have a great defense, and one that I trust 100%.
Steve, are you ever struck by the amount of love or support or whatever you guys are getting on the road? I guess a lot of it is for Steph, and we can't get it all on TV, but you experience it firsthand. What's that been?
Yeah, MVP chants in every arena for Steph. Well, maybe not Cleveland. They had their own MVP chant going for somebody else. I'm not sure who, but it's fun. I think it has to do with the success of the team the last couple of years. People have now noticed how fun the Warriors are to watch. And that's, as I said, that's been evolving the last couple of years, and it's continued this year. And now fans have really caught on. I have people all the time, people in the NBA, friends, people who aren't affiliated with the Warriors, saying, "Man, are you guys fun to watch?" So I think that's part of it. And then Steph, obviously, with the popularity, #1 vote getter for the All-Star game, potential MVP guy. He's getting a ton of attention, and people are noticing everywhere. It's fun.
I think when you guys signed Livingston, you talked about maybe like he could be the backup for both spots, which you didn't do a lot early on. But is he now kind of backing up both spots? Is that the way you see this evolving?
I try to keep everybody engaged all year. Barbosa's been great for us this year. Justin has had his moments where he's helped us win games, and those guys are still involved for sure. But Sean, if I can get him a few minutes here and there with Steph and Clay, it's really intriguing, and we'll see more of that for sure. But my job as a coach is to keep everybody ready to go, and as we go down the stretch, we'll probably see a little bit more of Sean, but we'll still see LB and Justin as well.
And also, David didn't play the second half of a couple of those games. Did you talk to him? Is he fine with this? Or I would imagine would be a little bit one to play in those second halves.
He's not fine with it, nor should he be. If you're a competitor, you want to play. And we've talked, and he's handled it as well as he possibly could. The great thing with David is I can talk to him, and he'll be honest with me, and he can express some frustration, and I can explain my thinking, and he's not thrilled with it, but we move on, and we have respect for each other, and he knows that he can help us win games, and he also knows he can help us win playoff games and big games. And there are going to be matchups where, especially the way the league has evolved, where people are just playing small and spreading the floor, and we've got lineups that make more sense to combat that. It's not easy to deal with as a player, but he's handled it really well, and proud of him for that.
Steve, in Brooklyn, it looked like there was a concerted effort to try and get Bogues and Festus involved on the offensive end. Is that just matchups, or is that you really wanting to see them get a little bit more involved on the offense?
Bogues, that was totally on his own. He just was more aggressive in the first half and got into a good groove, and it was really fun to see. And we'd like to see more of that, and we want him to continue to be aggressive. Festus, he missed a good month or 5 weeks, whatever it was, and then he went about 10 games without playing, mainly because I was trying to get Mo and David active and involved, and we were winning. And it's tough to go away from a formula when you're winning. But we started playing some bigger teams, and I want to get Festus back into the groove. We're going to need him in the playoffs, just like we're going to need Mo and David. And so we're just doing our best as a staff to get everybody out there and to get them rhythm and timing and minutes. And I've been talking about this all year. It's really hard. It's hard to get everyone, time, but it's their jobs to stay ready, and it's my job to keep them, to help them stay ready. So we're going to play everybody, you know, in this last 25 games, whatever we have, but not every night.
Everybody available tonight?
As far as I know, yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Locker room will be open.